أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
Assalamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa Eid Mubarak. So as people come in, we are about to begin very shortly the Eid Salah. So a few announcements. Someone lost a set of blue dhikr beads. If you're missing a set of blue dhikr beads, please see the audio-visual area on my right-hand side for the brothers sitting there. After the Salah and the Khutbah given by Imam Saif, there will be a bake sale in support of Palestine as well as Sudan, so please support it. And also in the brother section towards the front of my right-hand side, there is a voter registration table. So if you are not registered to vote and you're eligible to vote, please do so and stop by. There's a limited amount of chairs in this area, so please only reserve the chairs for those who need them. For example, the elderly. If you do not need a chair, please let those who actually need them have those chairs, please. After the Salah, led by Imam Saif, he will also be delivering a very short khutbah. It is a part of the sunnah and highly recommended to stay seated and silent for the khutbah, inshallah, to get the full reward of this blessed day and this blessed prayer. After the khutbah, there will be refreshments available, water, donuts, and the like. But please wait until after the khutbah to approach the refreshments table. Just like we had with Eid Al Fitr, we do have photo booths available provided by the Islamic Association of Raleigh. I know everybody has their phones, but do it right, do it proper, make use of the photo booths that we have available, and document this occasion with your beloved family members and your friends. And if you post on social media, make sure to post at Raleigh Masjid. Now obviously these types of events, they require a lot of money. It doesn't come cheap, especially years like this year where we weren't certain exactly when Eid was going to be, Eid Al Adha, waiting for the official announcement to come. So please, when it comes to this event, other expenses that your masjid has, the Eid festival coming up in about a week, please generously support your masjid. Go to the website, donate with cash in the collection buckets throughout, or scan the QR codes that are appearing periodically on the screens to my right and to my left. Please donate generally to support your masjid so we can continue to have the programs that are vital to our community's success. For the very first time ever, there will be a unified Eid festival located right here in the NC State Fairgrounds in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a collaboration of 11 area masajid. Please join us on June 22nd at 2 p.m. There'll be over 40 different attractions, including bouncy houses for the kids, lots of food, a bazaar, and much more. There is a cost for this event, but you can take advantage of the early bird ticket price, which is only $2, and that can be purchased online at nce.org. Again, that's nceid.org, or by scanning some of the QR codes that you see appear on the screens. And as we celebrate this joyous day of Eid Al Adha, please continue to recite the takbirat. Let's get this room full with the takbirat. All right, another quick announcement. As things are getting more and more packed, we respectfully ask that those fill the ranks starting from my left to the right. So please fill the ranks as you come in, starting from the left, my left, your right, and then work your way back towards the entrance so we can make room for everyone, inshallah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahil hamd.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu La Allah.
La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahil hamd. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
Assalamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are about to promptly begin the Salah. It is 9:30 exactly. And so just to stall a little bit, we'll reiterate the announcements from before. There were some blue dhikr beads that were lost. And if you're missing some blue dhikr beads, please go see the brothers at the audio visual section to my right-hand side. There are a limited amount of chairs available, so if you do not require a chair, please leave them for those who do. After the Salah, led by Imam Saif, there will be a short khutbah also given by Imam Saif. It is sunnah and highly recommended to stay seated for the Salah and silent. Stay seated for the khutbah and remain silent. As people come in, please follow the directions from the security staff. Make your way all the way to my left, your right, and fill the ranks that way. There are free photo booths available. So after the Salah, after the khutbah, please make use of the photo booths available to document this wonderful occasion. And if you post on social media, please post at Raleigh Masjid in all of your posts and your stories. Now, obviously, events like these, they require a significant amount of financial contributions from you all, the community members. So please donate generously to the Islamic Association of Raleigh, be it on our website, via cash in the donation boxes, or by scanning the QR codes that you see in the screens to my right and to my left. On June 22nd at 2 p.m., here on the State Fairgrounds, please join us for a very memorable day, the very first unified Eid festival. Once again, this is going to be held on June 22nd at 2 p.m. Join us for this very memorable day of over 40 different attractions, including bouncy houses for the kids, lots of food, as well as a bazaar and much more. The early bird ticket price of $2 can be purchased online at nceid.org. That's nceid.org. And as we celebrate this joyous day of Eid Al Adha, please continue to recite the takbirat as it's the sunnah of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And without further ado, I invite to the stage Imam Saif to explain the logistics of the Eid Salah, lead the Eid Salah, and then deliver the khutbah afterwards. Jazakallahu khair wa assalamu alaykum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. We're going to shortly begin the Eid Salah. Just ask everyone to keep moving towards your right, to the left, and fill up the gaps as you're standing up and lining up for the Salah. Salat al-Eid consists of 2 rak'ah, just like Salat al-Fajr, but we're going to add some takbirat to it. So after the first takbir, we're going to add 7 additional takbirs to the first rak'ah before the recitation begins, which means a total of 8 takbir. And then we'll pray as normal. And then in the second rak'ah, as we get up from sujood, and we say the takbir to get up, we're going to add additional 5 takbirs. So that's going to be a total of 6 takbirs. And then if you would like, during the short pauses, you can mention some dhikr. So just to summarize once again, that it will be a total of 8 takbirat in the first rak'ah, and then 6 in the second. And then after the salah, we'll have a short khutbah, which is highly recommended to attend it. But if you must leave, then please do so quietly so that other people can listen. Please straighten your lines and get ready for salah, inshallah. استووا استقيموا واعتدلوا. Please straighten the lines, close the gaps. الله أكبر. 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 الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. 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 الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وإذ يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت وإسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. My dear brothers and sisters, when we look at this blessed day of Eid and then the Hajj in which millions of people are currently gathering and finishing up their rituals, we cannot help but think of Ibrahim alayhi salam and his family. And when we look at the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, there's so many lessons that we can derive from his life. And we want to look at two of these lessons and how we can also try to implement that within our lives as well. The first is that Ibrahim alayhi salam led his life in a way where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was always number one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the priority in his life. When he had to make the decision between what he desired and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted from him, Ibrahim alayhi salam always chose Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وَإِبْرَاهِيمَ الَّذِي وَفَّى. Ibrahim, the one waffa, he fulfilled everything that was required of him. When he was told to go and leave his wife and his newborn child in the middle of a barren land where nobody resided, no vegetation is there, he complied with the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he leaves them. And being in that difficult state, he turns and he leaves. And his wife is calling out to him. And he does not turn to her. And she understood why he would do something like that. So she asked him, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell you to do this? And he said, yes. And she understood that if this is a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we fulfill this request of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to take care of us. Now as this child becomes older, and it already took so much time for Ibrahim alayhi salam to have his first child, and now when that child grows up and becomes useful to him, that he can aid him in his work, he has a dream in which he tells his son, Ya bunay, inni ara fil manami anni adhbahuka fanzur madha tara. That, oh my child, I see in my dream, and the dreams of prophets are revelation. It is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he understood that this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling him something. So he consults with his child, Ismail alayhi salam, and he tells him, I see in my dream that I'm slaughtering you. What do you think about this? And the child responds and says, Ya abat if'al ma tu'mar satajiduni insha'Allahu min as-sabirin. That, oh my father, go and do what you've been told to do. You will find me from the patient individuals. Not only Ibrahim, but his wife and his child as well. Putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forth in every single situation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not let Ibrahim sacrifice, but rather to see that is Allah number one in his heart, and replace that with a ram from heaven. Now Ibrahim alayhi salam is building the Kaaba along with his son. وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ. That both of them are building the foundation. Ismail alayhi salam is helping Ibrahim build the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they're making a supplication. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. I want you to really contextualize this. What is he doing first of all? He is building the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon the command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and both of them are asking Allah to accept from them. Command from Allah, building his house to begin with, and then they're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from them. That level of devotion, sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May He bless us to have that level of sincerity and devotion as well. The second lesson I want to highlight is that Ibrahim alayhi salam was an ummah. He was a nation all by himself. He was a leader and imam for the people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, إِنَّ إِبْرَاهِيمَ كَانَ أُمَّةً قَانِتًا لِلَّهِ حَنِيفًا وَلَمْ يَكُنْ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. That Ibrahim alayhi salam, he had so much good in him, that this one individual, the ulama, the scholars, they say, that he had the qualities that made him a one-man nation. But most of them say that he was an imam, he was an example, he was a leader to be followed. He was somebody who used to teach and instruct good. Qanita on top of that, obedient and submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hanifa as well, somebody who turned away from all sorts of falsehood. And he directed his attention only to the truth, only that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. وَلَمْ يَكُ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And he was not ever from anyone who associated partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. شَاكِرًا لِأَنْعُمِ. Not only that, he was grateful for the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with. For every blessing he understood, he recognized it, he thanked Allah, and he utilized that blessing in the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the result of that made him ijtabahu wa hadahu ila siratin mustaqim, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose him for himself. He made him one of the greatest prophets, Abu al-Anbiya, and he guided him to the straight path. So my dear brothers and sisters, when we look at these two lessons from the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, we take this similar lesson as well. Number one is, how can I live my life in a way where Allah is the priority, the main priority, that He is the center of my focus and my life revolves around that. Not my life is the number one priority and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fits in there somewhere. But how can I always do the right thing? Do that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects from me. And when we look at the situation of our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza, in Sudan, and everywhere, how can I do the right thing? What can I do that is going to help them? What platform do I have? What abilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me that I can utilize to serve and give for the sake of this ummah? The second thing is, all of us need to be ambassadors and examples. Like Ibrahim alayhi salam, Saif, Ahmed, Zainab, Dania, Bilal, all of us need to be examples, live the message of Islam. Because the people, they're not going to see beyond the lies and the propaganda. Whatever the media tells them, they're going to eat it up. They're not going to take the time to research and see, okay, what's the reality of the situation? What's really happening? What does Islam actually teach? But they do interact with you and I. They do get to see you and I on a regular basis. And we have to be that example that piques their curiosity. That, hey, they're different. They're not like what the media is portraying them to be. Let me go and ask questions. We open dialogue with them. And we become the means to inspire people, to lead by example, to teach that what is good. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who have that taqwa, because that is the core definition of taqwa. And may He make us an example and inspiration for others. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. My dear brothers and sisters, today is a very special day, a day of enjoyment, a day of eating and drinking, a day of gratitude, a day of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also a day of reflection, to see the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you and I, and then to also see the situation of our brothers and sisters across the world, and not to forget them, but to remember them in our du'as. That's the least that we can do. But then also to see that, how can I be somebody of influence? How can I make a difference? Who are those people that I need to tap into to be able to bring change? What are the things that work? And the most important of that is to have that mindfulness and taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this a joyous day for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us safe, keep us steadfast upon our deen, make us leave this world with La ilaha illallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give goodness to our brothers and sisters in Gaza. May He put an end to this occupation. May He feed them, clothe them, turn the tables around for them. May He give victory to the Muslims. May He ease their pain and suffering. May He support the Muslims wherever they are, whether it's in Gaza, in Sudan, everywhere the Muslims are struggling. They're experiencing difficulties. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease their pain and suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give rise to this ummah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك أعداء الدين أيا كان يا رب العالمين. عيدكم مبارك. May you have a wonderful and joyous Eid. Please get up and hug your brothers, sisters, hug your sisters, and spread the love and joy of Islam. Assalamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As you're leaving, inshallah, let's chant together only 3 times, okay, for Palestine, inshallah. There is a bake sale for Gaza as well as Sudan, and there is also a table for voter registration. Can you repeat after me, inshallah? Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. جزاكم الله خيرا.